We are creating a pipeline of data engineering pipeline where we're using multiple tools such as Airflow, Snowflake, DBT, Soda, and Airbyte. Specifically, we are focusing on the Airbyte where we uses the we Airbyte used for to share the data from one resource to the another resources. So along with that, we also used the some other tools as well, for such as Airflow, the S3 bucket, Snowflake, Soda, and in the end DBT for the data transformation for structured data. So I will start from the Airflow. So first of all, we created a random data set for the random data set, whereas we also created some fraud data set. So along we will compare this data set and we'll make our assumption using the DBT in the last of a dashboard. So first of all, what we created a transaction data, and we also created some fraud data where along in that transaction data there are some fraud happened in that data set. So this data is randomly generated and the fraud data as well is randomly generated. So to generate this data set, we give this task to the Airflow. So we'll automatically it will automatically create the task and automatically create the dataset. So we will store this dataset in a different dataset form. So we will use a transaction dataset. For the transaction dataset, we will store this data in the PostgreSQL, and the fraud data we will store this in the MySQL. So these are two servers we created on the Docker. Along with this, so to move this data from one source to another source, we use the Airbyte. So Airbyte is used to share the data from one source to another source. So we are storing these two data set on the S3 bucket, which is we can say that is a data lakes, which is used to store the unstructured data. So after that, we transfer this data onto the data warehouse where we are using the we are doing some kind of a transformation from converting to unstructured data into structured data format using the DBT. So again, to transfer data from one source to another source, we are using Airbyte. So we are using S3, we are connecting S3 to the Snowflake servers. So after that, we are using the Soda. Soda is an open source framework which is used to quality checks. It will prevent the downstream of a data, the quality issue, ensures your quality at the end of the employee. And after in the end, we are using the DBT. So DBT for DBT, we are using DBT for to convert unstructured into structured format for the business intelligence purpose, for a display purpose. So I will go to the code where we are creating the data. So here we are randomly creating data and inserting data set into their particular servers. So in the two servers, PostgreSQL server and the MySQL servers. That's our code for that. These are the depending file. This is our DAG file where we are performing the DAG task here. So there are two tasks which will create the two data sets. I'll get you there in the tag. This is our two tags. So first of all, we will talk about the first tag that we are just doing. This is our first tag. It is taking pretty much time. We'll go to the another. So here it is. This is our Airbyte. Here we are. So here we are. First of all, by doing Airflow, we are storing dataset in the MySQL and Postgres. So this is our connector. We are converting, transferring this data from the S3 bucket. This is our MySQL connector, MySQL to the S3, and this is our Postgres to the S3. So after that, what we are doing to, we are transferring these S3 buckets. I'll show you. Transferring this S3 bucket to the Snowflake servers. So we created the connector, the S3 bucket, which is connected to the Snowflake server. So after that, what we are doing, we are using the Soda for the quality checks. I'll show you what kind of a quality checks that we are performing on the data set. This Soda, this is customer nation. So there are some kind of a quality checks that we are performing on that two data sets. For the customer data transaction data set, we are taking the row count is greater than 0. They're not supposed to be any duplicate rows. So also some kind of assumption that we are also performing. So missing amount value cannot be null, transaction keys cannot be null, user ID cannot be null, and transaction data is not supposed to be null. These are some quality checks we are performing on that particular data set. For the fraud data sets, we are checking if the data set not supposed to be empty, there is not supposed to be any duplicate values. Also some kind of a other assumption as like a transaction ID cannot be null, fraudulent data is cannot be null, and the reference transaction ID is the primary key of that customer transaction table is not supposed to be 0. So this is our quality checks for that particular data using the Soda. I know we can use this quality checks on the DBT as well, but using that tool, I want to show that Soda tool. That's why I use the Soda tool over here. After that, what we are doing. So after that, we are performing the transformation on that particular data sets using the DBT. So this is our DBT. So here we have created some transformation of a data set in the DBT. That's why it will display our data set in the well-structured manner. So we'll go forward to the this is our generator. That's our first tag. Here I'll show you the graph. It's taking pretty much time. I'll show you my Postgres server, which is currently running on the Docker container. This is our DAG file. There we have created two tasks to generate data and store data into their particular servers. This is our first task, and for the two tasks, for the two tables. So this is our pipeline. To automate this pipeline, we create the another tag, which is directed acyclic graph, which will automate this whole workflow, and it will show us the direct data set in the end of a Snowflake. So I'll show you the code for this. So here, what we do, first of all, we are loading the data set loading dataset, also as loading the label dataset. After that, what we are doing, okay, we are storing this dataset into the S3 bucket. After that, what we are doing, we are doing the quality checks on that particular dataset that I shown you early. After that, the last task was the DBT task. We are performing some transformation on the dataset, and this is our chain where we are automating the all tasks on a sequence of flow. That's what we are doing. I'll show you the graph of that particular tag. It is taking pretty much time.